A close encounter in Centurion has seen India go 2-1 up in the third T20I. Now, I'm going to have to say that the scoreline or the scorecard does deceive you a little bit, because I think that the worries for South Africa are a lot deeper than the display of and performances that we've seen today in this match. It was a very, very dominant performance with the bat from India. And once again, it took one star performer to really dig their heels in from an Indian perspective. Well, at least that's what happened the last match. Today they had two, Tilak Varma and Abhishek Sharma, their two young guns, taking the game completely away from South Africa. But South Africa's chase was disappointing, I have to say, from a South African cricket fan perspective. I'm thinking about it and the way we went about it. We had a remarkable end, of course, and we're going to have to give the plaudits to certain players for the way they performed. But when you win the toss and you elect to bowl first on a wicket that is, you could call a home ground for the Proteas. You can literally call Centurion almost a home ground for the Proteas with the amount of Titans players that they have in their side. So knowing the fiction, knowing the ground, knowing the wicket, understanding the pressures that come with chasing, to make that decision to bowl first and then concede 200 again, I think that needs to be looked at from a South African perspective, because that's just not on. We can't be having a situation like that happening all the time when we make a decision at the toss and look like we get it wrong every single time. They read the wicket incorrectly, I feel, because the ball kept a lot lower than I think they expected it to. And a lot of the wickets from a South African standpoint were thrown away once again. So we're going to talk about today's game on today's show. And I think majority of today's show will be your live questions. But before we get going, before we get started, there are a couple of things I'd like you guys to please do. First and foremost, subscribe to the channel. Click that notification bell for all future videos. Don't forget to smash the like button, comment, and share. Please, once we've ended this live stream, please go to the comment section and comment there. I'll try to get to as many questions as I can. Statements, I generally don't comment on statements. I'll either maybe just give it a like. But if there's any questions or anything that is said over there that is evoking a response from me, then I will answer those questions as best as I can at a timely fashion if I can get to it. I'd also like you guys to please subscribe to Cricket Fanatics Magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. The link is on the screen right now as well as in the description. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review show. I'm your host, Khalid Mohidin. And this is the show where we're going to be talking about the third T20I between South Africa and India. It was quite a dominant display by India, and South Africa were a team that kind of looked like they were in the headlights, like rabbit, like deer in the headlights, kind of when they were bowling today. I think there was only one player that deserves a hell of a lot of credit for the way they played. Um, I think man of the match from a South African standpoint, not from a match perspective, but from a South African standpoint, the man of the match or the MVP would be Marco Jansen. Ball and bat, brilliant today. He showed that he can perhaps be, he showed signs of what it would look like if he was the number seven for South Africa in the future. Now, I still think that he has a lot to do to get to that level of him calling himself a number seven. Um, he still is a little bit too inconsistent to be that number seven. But from his perspective today, I think he was brilliant. Best bowler on the day and best batter on the day. So well done, Marco Jansen. Um, a really, really amazing performance. But let's get into today's match. What happened? South Africa obviously won the toss and they put India into bat again. And it was a strange one for me because, like I said, I don't know many grounds in South Africa that it's easy to chase under lights. You could maybe look at the Wanderers as a place where it might get a little bit easier to bat in the evening. But generally speaking, chasing under lights in South Africa is very tricky if there is a big total on the board that you're trying to chase. Now, lower totals is a different ball game altogether. I think you can back yourselves if you're chasing anywhere between 150, 160, maybe even pushing 180 in South Africa. But anything 190 up is extremely difficult to chase in South Africa. So there again, I think perhaps I can't think of any other reason why they would continue picking to bowl first, other than they're trying to test themselves. They understand that chasing has been their weak point for the last for the last 5 years, 6 years. Chasing has been South Africa's weak point. And maybe they want to put themselves in situations like this more often so that when they get faced with this type of situation again in knockout stages, they get over the line and they don't crumble like they did against India in the final and like they did in previous matches in semifinals. So I think that's the mentality, and I think that's the understanding from this perspective. Okay, so what happened in the match? Well, it started off brilliantly. Marco Jansen taking a wicket early on, and off the first ball of the game, actually, to be honest with you, or second ball of the game. And he got Sanju Samson again with a beautiful delivery for a duck. But then it went all pear-shaped from there. And particularly Gerald Coetzee today wasn't great at all. He was definitely South Africa's worst bowler on the day. 17 economy rate, 3 for 51, couldn't find a line in length. And it shocked me because he's the player that is now signed with the Titans. He plays for the Titans. He should understand these conditions a lot better than anybody else. So it was a bit shocking to me that out of all the bowlers, it's a Titans bowler that went for so many runs and couldn't find his lines and lengths. So that was a little bit of a shit one from a South African perspective. But when you have two young left arm batters that perform the way they did here, Abhishek Sharma and Tilak Varma, you know what made them brilliant today? What made them brilliant compared to South Africa, and I honestly believe this, the difference between them today and our top order is they didn't try to force things. They played cricket shots. They timed the ball beautifully, and that's how they got the runs on the board. They never tried to play with power and try to force the issue for boundaries. And they focused on their timing and reading the flight of the delivery and reading the pitch of the delivery and using their skills to manipulate the ball to where they wanted it to go. Sharma scored 50 of 25 balls, 3 fours and 5 sixes at a strike rate of 200. Tilak Varma scored 107 of 56 balls, 8 fours, 7 sixes, 191.07 strike rate. They were absolutely phenomenal and they deserve all the credit. They had 107 of 2 for 2. They were 107 for 2 after 8.4 overs, and that's when Sharma lost his wicket, just after getting his 50. And then South Africa kind of tried to pull it back a bit, and they managed to do so through the likes of Andile Samalani, who got 2 very good wickets. Um, was a bit expensive at first, but then got 2 very good wickets. He got Sky's wicket again. And then Keshav Maharaj also 2 for 36, an economy of 9, bowled his full quota of overs. Nothing too much negative that I can say about Keshav today. Lutus Pamla was a strange selection for me. I know that he did really well in the final of the CSA T20 Challenge, and he's on his way back to full fitness again. But Otniel Bartman is a Protea. Otniel Bartman should be the first bowler on the team sheet, in my opinion. If Anich Nokia is not available, Otniel Bartman is the first name on the team sheet. Now, I don't know if Otniel's carrying a niggle or what the case may be, but that's a player that should be starting in the bowling attack. Every single Proteas game, he should be the first person on that team sheet as a seamer, especially when you're going to go seamer heavy in a team. We only went with one spinner, and Otniel still didn't get in the side, and that was a shock to me today. But overall, the bowling performance was poor. I have to give credit to Marco Jansen at the death. He only conceded 4 runs when everything that India was touching was flying to the boundary. So brilliant, because I mean they still had Varma not out at the crease, and Jansen bowled absolutely phenomenally at the death. So it's good to see that this rest has done him well, because now he's now consecutively performed well in all 3 games so far on this tour. I don't think he necessarily had a very bad game in any of these games this tour. So maybe he needed that break. But yeah, bowling performance was terrible. India scored 219 for 6. Run rate required for South Africa was 10.95 and over. They went out to bat, and that run rate just kept on climbing. Despite the stoppage didn't really make a difference. There was a stoppage because of ant flies. I think they call them flying ants or ant flies or whatever they call them. It's these little bugs that always are around at Centurion when the floodlights come on. They're normally a sign of bad weather or that the rain is coming. And they kind of fall to the ground and lose their wings, and then they like burrow into the ground like little worms. So yeah, they're quite big when they have their wings and they're flying around. They can be quite a hindrance. So they had to stop the game. It's not the first time insects stopped the match. I remember at the Wanderers, bees stopped the match against India in the test match. Everybody had to lay down on the floor. So yeah, it's not the first time that insects stopped a cricket match in South Africa. But yeah, the batting performance, Ryan Rickelton got once again same thing. Good starts, and then losing wickets, giving the wickets away again. The top 3 need to sort themselves out. Really, really, they do. And this stresses how important Quinton de Kock was for South Africa, because there was a period of time when some fans wanted him to be dropped. But his importance has just now magnified with the poor performances that we are seeing from our top 3 over the last couple of months to a year. Ryan Rickelton got 20 or 15, 2 fours and a 6, looked really good, and then lost his wicket. He was clean bowled by Ashdeep Singh, sorry. Riza Hendricks got 21 of 13, looked clueless against spin again. Aiden Markram um, looked really, really good. 29 of 18, two massive sixes, a strike of 161. And you could see how pissed off he was with his dismissal. He shouted, he screamed on the field. I've never actually seen him that angry after losing his wicket. Bar that time in India when he punched something, a door, I think it was, those doors quite thick, and he broke his hand um, on a tour to India in the Test series. So also giving his wicket away. And that's been the story of Aiden Markram's career recently. He keeps on giving his wicket away. And there shouldn't be any excuses. It's terrible from his perspective to get starts every single time and go out. I'm sure he knows that too. And that needs to change. Um, it needs to change quickly. And we're again sitting with a captain that's out of form. We had it with Temba, and now we have it with Aiden. And it's really, really irritating from a Proteas fans perspective that this keeps on happening. So we need to sort that out. Tristan Stubbs tried to go for it, tried to go for reverse sweep. Wasn't the right shot to play. LBW to Patel. And Axel Patel bowled really well today. Um, After hardly bowling in the last two matches, coming in and performing like this. I mean, India really have a very, very good pipeline when it comes to T20 cricket, I must say. Then Heinrich Klaasen and David Miller kind of tried to level things up. I mean, after South Africa were 84 for 4 after 10 overs. And you could see it. Both batters tried to force it at the beginning. Really, really weren't timing the ball well. David Miller and Heinrich Klaasen. And despite Heinrich finishing with 41 of 22 balls with 4 sixes and a 1 and 1 4, sorry, he didn't really look that good at the crease. He looked like he was struggling to time the ball, and he looked like he struggled with his timing for some time now. And I guess that's natural when you take time off and you come back into the swing of things, particularly when you are getting older as well. So I'm sure Heinrich Carson will come right, um, and he'll find his form again to where he's scoring half centuries and big half centuries and match winning knocks for South Africa again. But generally speaking, this has been a common trend with Heinrich when in a chase where he will go out when we most need him. When he gets us, gives us hope, and then loses his wicket at a crucial time in a chase. And South Africa ends up losing the game. It happened in the final. It's happened many times in the IPL. And even in the SA20, I've seen it happen too. So he needs to find ways on how to be the last man standing, like Tristan Stubbs was in the previous game. David Miller just couldn't find his form today. It's been a while since he's been out there in the middle, so I can forgive him for that. So I'm not going to be too critical of David today. But Marco Jansen was absolutely phenomenal. 54 of 17 balls, four fours and 5 sixes, a strike rate of 317.64. Brilliant, brilliant knock from Marco Jansen. And he really, really showed that he's a guy that can do things. He's a guy that can do things in that position as a big hitter coming in under pressure. And I hope that he continues to go from strength to strength. South Africa struggled with the spinners once again, as you know. Chakravarti taking 2 for 54, Akshar Patel 1 for 29. But Arshdeep Singh again, that ball that's moving at the death and up front. He's a killer bowler, honestly. He is a really, really good bowler. And he's going to give a lot of teams trouble. He is a proper find for India. Yes, we've known about him for quite some time. Coming through the IPL system, we saw him do these things in the IPL, and he's now carrying it over into the India side. But India have their transitional phase, their pipeline spot on. And it's something that we need to learn from. It's something that we need to find out how we can do the same. And I guess with the improvement of the T20 tournament, the SA20, I think those things will start to happen as time goes by. Our league will get better, the competition in the league will get better, and our youngsters that are coming through will be more and more and we'll start to produce some excellent talent in this in our pipeline. But we are still right at the beginning stages of our SA20 competition, so we're going to have to wait for these things to happen. South Africa has been competing in T20 tournaments, though international in the world in ICC events. So that's what we need to get ourselves to. And so far, it seems like Robbie is fine with um, taking risks and making mistakes in series leading up to T20 World Cups and up to ICC events, so that he can find his best team for those ICC events. But that isn't always the best decision if you're not going to bring home a trophy in some time. If he keeps on just making it to semis and finals and not bringing a trophy home, then all of these losses are going to start to stab him in the back. Anyway, guys, so let's get straight into the comments. Oh, yes. Like Sabir says here, extras today were terrible. 19 extras today. We've been talking about extras for a very, very long time um, on this channel. There are plenty of games we've lost because of extras. Jaden says, I guess we should just focus on on leveling the series. And I think that will be a decent result. Leveling the series would be a positive from a South African standpoint to kick off the season. A win would have been brilliant, would have been perfect, but I'll take a draw. Saber Khan almost brought it back there at the end, thanks to Janssen. Top three never fails to disappoint. Blitz, laughing faces. I think that's laughing faces. Is that crying faces or laughing faces? I don't know what that is. Why no Bartman? I asked the same question, Sabir. Two Indians, B team, we choke. This is not Indians B team, though. This is India's new T20 side. Maybe bar one or two, maybe players or three players. Sarat says we need to move on from Rickleton. He for sure has run out of his chances now. I don't think so. I think he can have a little more time to get used to get up to scratch, because there isn't necessarily anybody domestically that has shown more quality than Rickleton at the T20 SA20 level and in the CSA T20 Challenge level. Consistently, I'm talking about over the last 2 years. Sarath, what does Rob need to move on from Riza? We lost because of Markram, says Sapo. Talha says top three should be dropped. They can't get past 50 runs combined. Our middle and lower order have to always play catch up. I'm really disappointed. Ryan had the best chance after that reprieve. Blitz says, where's RVD and Rousseau when you need them? Nah, both of them. You know how terrible Rousseau was in the CSA T20 Challenge. Sarath says, good to see Markram and Klaasen coming back into some form, especially Markram considering the Sri Lanka test. Dex says, we lost because of brainless bowling. What form is Markram in? Exactly. I should say Miller. You see, he is striking the ball nicely. There is something that is influencing his decision making, and I don't know what it is. I should say Miller has cost us this game because he ate up a lot of deliveries at the crucial stage. Had he got out a little earlier, maybe we could have won this. Yeah, in hindsight, we can say that, but it wasn't very easy for the two of them in the middle at that stage of the match. The ball was sitting up in the pitch a little bit. And it wasn't bouncing as they expected it to do in Centurion. Sapa says Riza and Aiden are the luckiest cricketers in Proteas history. What more should they do to get dropped? Plus, is this shows ABD and D. Huh? Roderick says Stubbs and Janssen perform under pressure because they know how to win SEC boys. Blitz says this shows ABD and quoted the cock retired too early. I don't, yeah, I guess going to the cock maybe yes. Talha says Riza's time is up, please. I can't see him playing in the 11 always without performing. Al Khalid, why did we decide to chase today again? Talha says we lost the game in the first 10 overs of batting. Very poor at home ground, and I don't understand one thing of winning the toss and bowling first. Seriously, what is wrong with the management? Like I said, the only reason I can think of is because they want to put themselves under pressure and they want to try and test themselves because they know that's a weakness chasing under pressure. Um, South Africa always plays better when they bat first, and we bowled first in the first two games. I thought winning the toss, we should have batted first at the Highfield. I also thought the same thing. I said it in the preview, or I said it on the review show. Marvel says, why not Brevis in place of Hendricks? Because Brevis has also struggled to find runs domestically. So recently, so I looked at his last couple of games that he's played. But today, Dewa Brevis was on fire. Um, but when you look at his T20 challenge, it wasn't the best T20 challenge for him. And he was in and out of the team. But we need to see we just need to see one tournament. Like, if you can have a great SA20 and just like play amazingly and just be consistent, then I think that will do wonders for him and his position for the Proteas side. Because I got that wrong completely. Where did I see? Anyway, yeah, he's been struggling for runs recently. Dewald. I mean, he's playing 4-day cricket at the moment, and he's been struggling there. He's been struggling in the T20 challenge as well. He did score runs for SAA in the first class games, but that's the last time. And then in Dallas, he scored matches as well, as 50 in that game. But generally speaking, he has been low of runs, and he needs to just find his form again. And we need to be patient with Dewald. We don't have to rush him into this pressure right now. With Klassen, Marco, and Kutsia in the team, Miller should move up the order in place of Aiden to give him enough time to settle. He wasted too many balls. Waka says it didn't work in the first T20, and in the second T20, Tristan Stubbs bailed us out. Talha says the total could have been chased had our top three didn't eat up deliveries with few runs in the power play and then lose their wicket after chewing up balls. Doesn't need to chase in the match. We really experimented in the first two matches. Yeah, and I get that. And like that's why I said we need to also win matches. And that's why I said in my previous video on the channel that I would bat first in the IFL, because especially with players that are out of form, give them the best opportunity to score big runs. That can boost their confidence tremendously. Rolando says Klassen struggles against overpitch ball against spinners. Aditya says feel for Markram, felt like today was this day. Why God can't give him some luck when he is struggling with some form. Cricket is harsh. Cricket is a very, very harsh sport. You fail more than you succeed. Klaassen is not able to play the pace bowlers well. Also, he plays spin well, but his batting against pace is not that good. It seems Rob wants to rectify their chase, and Klaassen's good against spinners when the ball is pitched up. When they get it spot on, when they get it in good areas, he struggles. It seems Agashen says it seems Rob wants to rectify their chasing issues. That's what I'm thinking. And they are giving new players a chance to build a better squad for the future. Rather, we build a squad from now before the World Cup. And that's how he's been approaching it every single series. Um, from my perspective, that's how I think he operates or likes to operate. But things of losing games, I really don't agree with. Yeah, and that's the thing. Um, a risk like that can go either horribly wrong or horribly right, or really horribly right, or very, or whatever the saying is. It can either go horribly wrong or it can go right for the team. Kutsia needs to be dropped, says Paul Terry. I don't think so. He bowled really well in the first two games. Marwan says too much to chase, to be honest. We need more skillful bowlers rather than out and out pace. I think Batman is the most skillful bowler we have for this format, and I don't understand how he doesn't get selected. He should have been selected instead of Lutus Pamela, in my opinion. Um, Pink Day was bees also, says Abed. Yes, there was Pink Day in bees as well. I remember that. I think Vesa should bat first at Wanderers and go all guns blazing, but I think we'll lose the toss and bowl first again. Probably that will be the luck of South Africa. Klaassen captain, says Wakas. Muller captain, says Sabir. Marwan says, looking at the future, I think Riza should be replaced. I think Jason Smith deserves an opportunity. Maybe play Aiden and Rickleton up front and Stubbs at 3, Smith at 4. We need another good season from Jason Smith. Consistency is what we need from him right now. Pratik says, Markram, I thought it was the innings today after he took Varun for 2 sixes. Proteas need a good start to get this total. Otherwise, it was always going to be difficult. 100%. Of course, that's the case. Let me get some last couple of questions here. PBG3 Jansen should look into the Noble World Cup final and in test matches now in T20. Why do Muller? Why is Muller playing so many dots in recent times? He may not be in pressure, but he may not be under pressure, but he's putting non-striker on under pressure. He needs to be ruthless as a batter. But I've been speaking about this is David Muller's game. This is how his game has become. He very seldomly goes guns ho from the start of his innings. He takes some time to get his eye in. PBG3 says Janssen should look into. Oh, I've said that. Clock says Rob Walters' record isn't that great. Questions need to be asked. Players need to take responsibility as well. Since the World Cup, we haven't been great. Next game should be Riza's last chance. Pratik says this is not the India's B team, it's their team now, which I feel is better than what won the World Cup. That's what I thought. I thought this is your best team now. Aditya Khalid, what are your views on Herschel Keep's comments on Markram? That Caddy the Drinks one. I didn't hear it. I wasn't watching SABC's commentary. I was watching I don't know where he's commentating on, but I was watching Super Sports commentary. With Ashwa Prince, Ashim Amla, Natalie Jamanis, Sean Pollock, and Pamion Bangwa. That was the commentary team that I was listening to. The more I look Janssen back, the more I see Janssen back, more I feel he should be top order. Not just his lean body doesn't give me confidence he can bat. He has been MVP for the series, though evolved and has evolved as a bowler. Please, bro, can you write this better? Because I don't understand sometimes what you are saying. PBG3 says, I hope Donovan would get a game. Croc says, Aiden looked so out of touch in the beginning. He looked lost, devoid of confidence. Sad to see. I'm just going to get a couple more and then I'm going to call it. Um, Aditya says, Khalid, my third question is which team will pick Markram in the IPL auction? I have no clue. I think SRH will do it again because he's playing SEC. So I think they try to keep. I think India has been trying to keep certain players close to their teams throughout, so that there's some consistency. Um, Shikar says, teams realize that they need players who can instill fear in the opposition, like Head, Class, and Sky, Bumrah, not like Hendricks. Ibi says, SRH will take Markram to carry the rings for Head and Klaasen. Hendricks says, is an absolute waste. Hendricks is an absolute waste of time. Is an absolute waste, just can't do anything. Akashin says, guys, we need to stop concerning ourselves with past players and move forward. Spot on. Just be positive and understand what this team is trying to achieve. Sometimes we have to lose to learn to win. And there's some good pointers there. And like, I'm not going to throw my toys out of the cot here and be like, oh my God, we are crap and blah, 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 and all this crap, because there are signs that are coming together. There are things that are coming together in this team. And I do feel that in certain areas we are becoming better at certain things. Today's chase, it was too much to get, but good signs are good signs are Marco Janssen, Tristan Stubbs in the last game. So there are good signs here and there. Some of these players, yes, they need some form and they need to eat some form, and we'll see a very different situation. But I feel that there's enough games to get this team right. He's giving chances to players, younger players, and stuff to try and fill in certain gaps. And it's about it all clicking and coming together. So far, things have come together at the right time, which is at the World Cups. We've done decently in all the World Cups we've played under Rob. So I don't remember when last, I don't think if ever South Africa have been in consecutive World Cups in multiple formats. And at the moment, we are looking like we're going to make that in all three formats, because there's a big chance of South Africa making that Test Championship final if we can have a great home summer. So I think our cricket's in the right direction. I think our cricket as a whole is in a transition. Remember that I've said this, with all the senior players that have left over the last 5 years, there's going to be a hole that needs to be filled, and we're going to have to find the next players to step up. And sometimes they're going to fail, but some have to fail so that we can find the next person that will step up. So I'm hopeful of South Africa's future in cricket, and I think it will get better. Let's have good quality conversations around the team and talk about the areas where we can improve and certain things that can improve. And let's talk about and criticize where we can, but also praise where we can too. Let's have a nice balanced conversation about cricket in South Africa going forward on this channel. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. I'd also like you guys to please smash that like button and share, but also comment in the comment section after we've ended the stream. It will really, really help out a lot if you guys can do so. And so subscribe to my other channel as well. That would really be awesome if you guys can do so too. I review movie, series, music, and Manchester United. So if you like all those things, you can also subscribe there too. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next review show. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Peace out, everybody.